All right, welcome back, you guys. I'm gonna just give you two reviews. One is gonna be of a personal trade, and then the other one is gonna be of a signal, which I also took. Um, so let's get into that. So bring up Telegram. So the first one is gonna be, like I said, the personal trade. Let me move this out of the way, which I believe was on, yeah, July 31st. So I sent it to the group. You can see right here. I got in as soon as it broke this point. This is the 1 hour time frame that I'm currently on, but I'm gonna go to the 15. This is the 15 minute, right? So this is what I took, and you can see from here, right? And you can see from over here. I should have held it. It dropped almost 10,000. I only got like 13 off of it, 1,300 pips. I closed at 1,300 pips. So I left 8,000 pips um on the table. So yeah, man, massive move. You can see right there from the picture, right from there and then to the point. And also when it hit this point, this was my sell for the fib level. Man, this was a really A1 setup, but let's get into it. Let's get into it. And I did not capitalize. I beat myself. So I won money, right? But I beat myself because sometime in the markets, when the market is entering a new quarter or is a new phase, and you have to get adjusted to that particular trading, or tweak your style a little bit for the market conditions. Someone like myself who's used to holding trades for, 1,000, 15, 2,000, almost 3,000, maybe even a little more sometimes, any given week or month, right? When trades are just going, 600, 700, 800 pips, you get very scared in the market and you close it, right? You close it, and you take your money, which, 500 pips in the market on the, futures is pretty good, right? Pretty good. Um, but yeah, so I'm a swing trader, so that's why I'm trying to tap it out. So I'm looking for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, when I trade, when I'm getting the signals, right? But you also don't get these kind of setups. So this was an A1 setup. This is why I wanted to talk to you guys about this one. And then I'll talk to you guys about the signal, right? And also with me talking to y'all, I'm also going to send this to my group, um, because someone in there did say they wanted this, but also I need to start doing more trade reviews, so you can kind of get a glimpse into, possibly why I took that trade, my mindset behind taking that trade and things like that, because it could possibly help you in your strategy and give you a little bit more confidence. So first thing I'm gonna do, like I said, I'm gonna get into this trade from Thursday on the 31st, July 31st, right? So like I said, it broke this point. This point is what I'm looking at, right? I'm looking at this huge buy up, like I said before. Ever since the start of the month in July, we've been above that zone and we've just been hovering, right? Nothing has been breaking down to sell, right? Until Thursday and Friday, right? We finally, broke those points or those new levels set. So, right here, I see we have one point right there. Then you have another point right here, right? Now, these are not just regular points. The candle formation and also, looking at price action previous is going to let you know that those points are significant points in the market as far as structure, right? And if price breaks structure, right, what is it going to do? It's going to go the opposite way. If price keeps structure or maintains structure, that means it's going to keep going in the same direction, right? So these points you see right here, this kind of give you an indication of price forming structure, right? Which is doing what? Going to the upside, right? All these major points, right? All the way back to last week, right? And so on, right? It's giving you higher lows, right? They're new highs, but they're still lows for that high, right? Higher lows is giving you those points, which is telling you what? Market structure, right? It's telling you where price wants to go. Um, so yeah, so like I said, this was the A1 setup, man. I don't think I've seen many, if any, A1 setups in July. I have to go back and fact check that with my, chart, but man, this was an A1 setup and I did not capitalize. Like I said, this is all I got off of this trade. A little bit more down, 1,300 pips. And I closed it. And to make matters worse, I only held the trade for 3 minutes. That just lets you know how July has been, right? July has been a rough month. Um, with just, coming into Q3. We were waiting for Q3. Q2 is always pretty rough. But yeah, so that's one reason why I didn't hold. But regardless of whether I held or not, still made money in the markets, man. Still profited. Still the group made money, things like that. So whenever you're making money, you have to just take time and, be thankful. Now, of course, there's always going to be things you can work on. Like I said, for me, I didn't hold it. I didn't hold the trade. I didn't really follow my rules as far as for a winning trade. A few of my rules for a winning trade is, at least wait it out for an hour because like I said, I am a swing trader. So I'm trying to wait it out for at least an hour or for it to hit at least 1,000 pips, right? So I didn't break my rules completely because it did hit, you know, 1,000 pips. But when you have a A1 setup and you're a swing trader, you have to let the trade run, right? Just like how if it's a losing trade, you close it instantly, no thoughts, no anything like that. Now, of course, that doesn't happen all the time, but that's the goal. When it's losing, cut your money, right? Save your money, have an SL, save your money, cut it, right? When it's winning, you have to do the same thing. Let that trade run, right? Don't have, you can't be greedy. You can't, let the previous things affect you. Although you have to pay attention to the previous things because, like I said, July has been rough. So with me adjusting to that, I'm taking trades earlier, which is allowing me to still profit. But I just missed out on a trade like this, which was the best trade of the month, right? This was the best trade of July, right? The worst day of the month for the markets and the best trade setup of the month, right? One of the best things about being a day trader, right? It doesn't matter whether the market's going up or going down. We still can have great days, right? Regardless, we don't just need the market to go up to have great days. The market could be going to shit, right? Excuse my language, but it could be going down and we'll still have a good day, right? So yeah, like I said, this trade went, or this trade would have went if I would have held it almost 10,000 pips, right? The kind of money you can make off of that in any lot size. With the smallest lot size, that would have got you $1,000. Just to give you an idea, right? For something like what I would use, a 10, that would give you, I use 10s, 15s, and 20s, right? For a 10, that would give you $10,000 or about $10,000. For a 20, that would give you about $20,000, right? In the matter of one day, right? If you got in it on, when I got in on Thursday, right? If you would have held it until Friday, that's just the power of the markets, right? And the goal is always to not chase that, but perfect your craft to where you can capitalize on things like that. Like I said, I'm usually good for 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, holding for a day, 2 days. I don't really think I've gotten to that level mentally, and I don't really think that's my cup of tea because also you can up the leverage and things like that. So where you can make, I could have made 10,000 today, just taking it off the 1,000 with a certain amount in my account and using a certain lot size, right? And the same level of risk for that account. So, you just have to find what's good for you or what suits you. But yeah, man, so that was Thursday, the best setup. And pretty much what I saw, like I said, structure, right? Structure was forming, right? So when I saw price and it created this above, right, this kind of resistance, you can say, right? So when I saw it, create structure throughout the week, throughout last week, throughout the previous day and throughout the previous session, right? Because right here you have Asian session, and then right here you have the end of um the London session, right? So you have it creating those lower highs. And all I'm looking for it to do, I'm looking for it to either break above structure, right? Which is going to do what? Continue to follow structure or maintain structure, right? Because if we didn't have this, right? If it broke this point and you have this structure down here, or this point right here, this point right here, this point right here, right? And you have price breaking above, right? That's letting you know that price is going to continue to go to the upside, right? Now, I'm looking for either one or the other. I'm looking for it to either buy up or I'm looking for it to sell down because those are always the two things it's going to do. It's either going to buy up or it's going to sell down or it's going to consolidate, which is just going side to side, right? So when price breaks down, which I said I didn't call the signal because it happened before 9:30, but like I said, this was an A1 setup. So me myself, I got in it at 9:28 or 9:29, one of those. And yeah, I only hold the trade for 3 minutes because it went 1,000 instantly, instantly, which is another reason why I should have held it. But like I said, you always have to self-improve, right? Self-critique and then self-improve immediately after. But yeah, man. So I saw it break structure, and like I said before, if you were paying attention, if price breaks structure, it's going to do what? Go in the opposite way. If price maintains structure, right, it's going to continue to go in the same way or same direction. So that's pretty much what led me to enter that sell for Thursday. Um, and then again over here, right? Now, I hear or I've heard a lot of traders say this before when I was first starting out. They always said, don't try to catch a falling knife, right? And what that means is if price does a massive sell-off, right? Or if that pair does a massive sell-off, you're not looking to buy it right away unless it's breaking, a few things. And one of those things would have to be a major point in the market, right? A major point in the market. If it does not break a major point in the market, it doesn't matter if it's gone up 1,000, 2,000 pips, right? It's probably not going to keep going that direction. And that's the same thing it did on this session or this day, which is Friday, right? You see price is showing new people or it's fooling new people. They're thinking, okay, it's forming a resistance, right? It's forming a new zone. It's showing an area where it's going to reject and go back up to the upside, right? After that huge sell-off, people are trying to anticipate a buy, right? You can't anticipate what the market's going to do. You have to just simply react. And like those traders said before, you never try to catch a falling knife. So if price has dipped down that much, you don't want to be looking for a buy right away because it's probably going to continue to go down until something has been established, a new zone has been established, right? Now this is a zone right here, and I'll go to the higher time frames after this, and you can see. So if it doesn't break below this, then it probably will look to form some kind of structure and then break back above and continue buying, right? But we'll see. But yeah, so going into that session or going into this previous session, that's the first thing comes to mind, right? Don't try to catch a falling knife. So I'm not looking for a buy, right? If I'm gonna buy it, it has to break this point right here, right? And I can it has to break this point, right? And it has to break this point, and then also has to hit this area, right? It has to do those two things, or I'm not getting in it, right? So, this right here is 8:30. I don't care what it's doing. News is, make it fluctuate. I don't care, right? I'm not looking for it to do anything but buy back up, right? Or break this low. And it broke this low and we got in, right? And this went for almost 2,500 pips. Another great trade, right? Back to back days, right? But this one, difference between this one and this one, right? Um, and that's the thing with the massive trades, right? They always usually happen prior to the session, right? They always do. They always do. I think because they have to go so much, right? And those are usually A1 setups. But this was an A1 setup too. This was pretty clear, but this one would be 100 on the grading scale, and this would probably be a 98, right? Well, as far as how clear it was and what it has to look like for it to be an A1 setup for me. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I saw that made me get in this trade. And like I said, trading is the easiest, the easiest, hardest thing you will ever do in your life, probably, right? Because every day you come and you have to be accountable, and you never know what's going to happen because new things are happening on the day-to-day basis, right? So, like I said before, this is the zone right here. So I'm looking for it. If it's not going to break back above, like I said, it'll settle down here, it'll form, and then it'll go back up. But if not, it's going to break down go a little lower possibly, and then we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it, guys. So that's pretty much my personal trade, um, which is right here. And then the signal from Friday, which hit all the TPs. You can see, like I said before, you always gotta have two options, right? Just like I was explaining it, just like you can see in real time, right? August the 1st, right? Same thing I'm telling you guys. That's not in my chat or not in my group. Same thing I'm telling you all, right? Always have two things, right? And be prepared for the third thing. Price is either gonna buy, it's either gonna sell, or it's either gonna consolidate. And you have to be prepared for either or. Now, the first two, you have to be prepared to get in. Now, the third one, you're probably gonna have to take a small loss or um just being realistic, right? You're probably gonna have to take a small loss or you're going to have to just sit on your hands, right? Because you're not gonna know it's consolidation until after the day is up, right? Or at least, 2, 3 hours later, right? Because it's not gonna be looking like it. But I will say the setup will not look A1, right? So if you get caught in that consolidation, when you look back, if you do take a loss, you'll say this wasn't even a A1 setup. So I probably shouldn't even have traded the markets that day. But when money is on the line, we tend to, react a different way. And I can't say that that's ever going to change, but as you get more time in the market, more discipline, more reps, you can make up for those inefficiencies, right? So scroll down, see, and this trade happened fast as well. Right, I sent that out 9:32, 2 minutes already up, 200 pips, 300 pips, right? TP hit 4 minutes, 600 pips, right? So, these pairs, these trades, they move pretty fast, right? They move pretty fast, 1,500. Boom, look at it, right? And it's smooth, right? It's smooth. So these trades happen pretty fast sometimes, right? Another, great thing about trading futures, Nasdaq, US 30, GER 30, even S&P 500, they move fast. They move fast. But I hope that helped you guys just a little bit of insight into why I took those trades, what I saw in the market. I'll give more of those videos. I'll also give more trade breakdown or week breakdowns in the comings. But yeah, man, so hope that helped somebody. Hope it helped you guys, maybe get a little insight into how I trade. If you look back on my YouTube, you can see more so of my style of trading, right? I got a video out talking about how I trade. So this would make more sense after you watch that one. But yeah, hope this call helps someone and hope you guys continue to have a great August. See you guys at the top because the bottom is not an option.